My people, it's about that time.
Like a boss.
Live from the USA, helping you get paid every day. This is the boss of Bitcoin, the Cristo of crypto. It's your boy BK. And if you don't like me, you must not like money. Thank you for joining me, everybody. Today we are looking at kind of like an unspoken tragedy in today's society. This is indeed the housing crisis that America currently faces. And the sad part of it is only going to get worse before it gets better. But therein lies the opportunity. So if this is your first time tuning in, congratulations, baby. You are now rocking with the best. My name is BK, also known as a crypto trader. And I'm the boss of these charts, as you will soon find out. Every day I grace this microphone with my voice is another day you get to profit as a result, and today is no exception. So if you haven't done it already, make sure you smash that like button and subscribe. I make a video as often as possible. My goal is to help as many people make as much money as possible off of Bitcoin, and this is how we do it. We give away free Bitcoin, FREE, BTC, every single Friday. I just had 2 winners selected yesterday, so hopefully you have a chance to win. This is all you need to do. Leave a comment, shout out your city, where you watching this from in the world. We have a global community, and I respond to each and every comment you guys do leave, and this is your chance to win. Any single comment will work, but the easiest way, just let me know where you tuning in from. So let's go ahead and make this money. This is one of the things I think is very notable in today's society, is the lack of the ability to acquire wealth. As it turns out, real estate traditionally has been the most convenient method for this wealth accumulation. Back in the early 40s, 50s, 60s, you could buy a house for a few $1,000s. And you owned it free and clear. Now, the only thing you had to pay is property taxes. You don't pay them taxes, won't be your house very long. But other than that, it was a way for the American dream to stay alive. And that was through buying your house, owning your house, and then passing it down to a future generation, right? Now, as it turns out, housing is very unaffordable. And half of all U.S. are renters. This was just printed earlier this year, 2024. Very relevant data. Says over the past 2 years, this lady was shocked at how her rent for a 2-bedroom apartment in Philadelphia just kept going up from $1,300 a month to $1,600 a month. She's a mom of 4. She has her rent rising, and her hours are getting cut at her job. So this is kind of like the situation many people find themselves in, depending on what city you're in. This thing says she was in Philadelphia. I remember being in Cleveland. This was in 2009 in Richmond Heights, Ohio. I rented my first apartment. It was a 1-bedroom, about 735 square feet. And I paid $530 a month. And it came with a free 50-inch plasma when you signed the contract. So I did the cost analysis on that. It took it down to like $480, less than $500 a month. Now that same apartment, I guarantee you, going $800, $900, probably $1,000, maybe even $1,100. And it's like the apartment hasn't improved, tenfold. You don't get twice as big of a kitchen. It's the exact same unit. It's just the value of the dollars that we are using to exchange for such said apartment have gone down tenfold. So now that same unit, which was running $500-$600 15 years ago, is now running $1,100, $1,200, $1,250. You might be able to get it for $10.99 on a good day. But this is the situation really all over the United States. I think when they talk about CV-19, that really put, a spotlight on this issue. When you take away people's ability to work, you can't expect them to pay rent. And now that you don't got people paying rent, that money has to come from somewhere. So a lot of this ultimately bolstered the government spending surplus that we've seen, basically giving away way more money than they take in. And the bill that comes due just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And the interest is getting paid. Make no mistake about it. Like, the people who own the rights to that note, they are getting their money every single year. But that money has to come from somewhere. And so it's like a death cycle. It's like the interest that gets paid essentially is removed from circulation. We have to inject more money, acquire more through spending and taxation. And this is where we find ourselves presently. I think the housing market is huge when you watch the rise and fall of empires and ultimately the big bubble cycles. Wall Street stock market is intrinsically tied to the housing market. As I said earlier, like, real estate is the most leveraged vehicle of wealth accumulation. Even when you look at McDonald's, like, McDonald's really isn't in the cheeseburger business. They're in the real estate business. Like, how many acres of land does McDonald's own? This is their real business model, to acquire real estate and then build, little restaurants on it that sell shitty food. Like, that's the business model, but they own that land. 9 out of 10 times, McDonald's owns the land that they build on, and this is ultimately their business model. And then they lease that ability to operate those units of poison distribution, for usually an equity share with whoever has a few $1,000,000 to distribute poison to their local community. I think this is ultimately... that's talking about the price of a Big Mac. You even have interstate. Well, this is a little bit what we talked about. You have, like, it's the same sandwich, right? But it costs $4.40 in Nevada, $5.11 in California, and $3.99 in Alabama. Essentially, this is showing you the local distribution of local economies. How strong is the dollar in Alabama versus how weak it is in California. But ultimately, these are, the population clusters. California is most notably known for Skid Row. If you've never been, I wouldn't recommend going at nighttime, but honestly, I think it's such a shock and awe. I think they can have 9/11 happen and those two towers go down and they build this huge, ominous, memorial that the world has to participate in. For everybody that went and saw that and felt some kind of way, I say you go out to Skid Row and just look at it. It goes on for miles, and these are tens, if not hundreds of thousands of human beings that have been displaced and have now formed basically their own shantytown within downtown Los Angeles. And to be honest, they're popping up all over the West Coast with these unlivable scenarios. San Francisco, you go to the Tenderloin District, you ain't got to walk too far before you see somebody, looking like they just came out The Walking Dead, coming at you. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy. Las Vegas has like a whole city block designated for homeless people to go. I don't know what they do. I don't know if they're getting food, clothes, but it's there right downtown Las Vegas, over by Cashman Field, like 2 or 3 blocks away. You can see them lined up down the street. Like, this is happening right now. And this article, I think, talks a little bit about some of the contributing factors, but look at this. California makes up 13% of our nation, but has over 1/4 of the national homeless population. 151,000 people, probably way more by now. This was 3 years ago, so it's probably closer to 200,000, are now homeless in California. One of the reasons the median price to buy a house is now over $600,000. Remember, I said the only reason it's more difficult for you to acquire wealth is because the unit of value that we've measured our wealth in has deteriorated 90% over the past 100 years. Probably like 95%. I think it does. It cuts in half every 15 years. Right now we're in what's called hyperstagflation. They used to tell us that, it only cut in half every 30 years. Well, over my lifetime, I've seen it cut in half. So I'm cutting it down to 15. Because I wasn't paying attention 30 years ago to even know how much, a gallon of gas cost. But I know when I was in high school in 2003, a gallon of gas was about $1.28, maybe $1.45. on the expensive part of town, I could fill up my car, get a candy bar, a pop, and cash back from a $20 bill. Can't do that nowadays, right? Gas ain't changed. Gas is gas is gas. A barrel of oil is a barrel of oil. The only thing that's changed is the dollars that you paying in have become less and less valuable. This is the ground floor for why blockchain technology is important. I don't even want to get into all the use cases that it has in society. We got a presidential election coming up every year. They done miscalculated or miscounted some kind of state, some kind of way. They got 15 ways to verify you, but not one way to say if it's a good vote coming from a living being, across the board. Blockchain technology solves this. It has done it. It has solved this problem 15 years ago. But here we are. We still don't have an election running on top of blockchain somewhere. That's crazy to me. That's crazy. I mean, it means the problem doesn't want to get solved, right? The people that's making decisions have made the decision not to solve the problem. In fact, what we're looking at is the solution. This is a system of design. If you go and watch Hannibal from Netflix, old Netflix series with that one old English guy, a real proper one. That's what they would say in that movie. This is a system of design. Somebody built this entire equation. We're just the independent variables walking around trying to run through. Trying to get the maximum output on that side, but we don't control none of the variables that's set up against us, A is increase in housing costs. B is decrease labor productivity and payment. C is split up the household. So now you got multiple single parent households. You don't have double income scenarios in the household no more. D, increase childcare costs, decrease people having children, decrease their ability to pay for them. E, increase government spending. Every dollar we spend on poor people is a dollar we get to take from somebody else. This is a system of design. Family income spent on mortgage. Right now it's at 28 or 41%, I think, right now. Most people can't even afford to buy a house. I'm in a generation where I graduated from college, with my brand new civil engineering degree, thought I was going to be good, go get me a little engineering job, work my little 9 to 5 and start my life until 2008 happened. And it was like, I guess I'll go be a waiter at a Mexican restaurant. You know what I'm saying? Let me go bust some dishes. You know what I'm saying? Like, your engineering degree is worthless during a financial reset. And ever since then, housing has become more and more and more and more unaffordable. So the American dream is essentially on life support due to the fact that the vehicle, the asset used to purchase it, the dollar, is systematically designed not to retain its wealth and its value. Bitcoin is systematically designed the other way. So for all the money you lose trading and living in dollars, you gain tenfold, usually, over the course of 3 years. Let's just say 5 years. Let's say 5 years, US dollar goes down 15% on average. Probably 25%. Let's say 25%. 5 years, US dollar goes down 25%. 5 years, price of Bitcoin doubles, if not 1.5. I don't think there's been a 4-year point on record that Bitcoin's price has not doubled since inception. So we just go run it every 5 years, the price double. You know what I'm saying? Plus or minus. So now you're looking at essentially a 25% loss or 150% gain. 100 to 150%. That's the reality that we live in. That is the paradigm. And that's why I always say you have to make the choice. You have to choose to change your values. And when you do that, you systematically, by design, change your worth. This is an amazing movie. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. It's one of the most notable documentaries on the moment, and all of, he doesn't just talk about housing, he talks about government spending. I acquired a wealth of knowledge in the better part of an hour just watching this film. It's called The Requiem for the American Dream. Noam Chomsky, one of the free-leading thinkers of modern Keynesian economics in our world. It starts to show like this is the human condition at this point. This is what we've chosen for ourselves. Now, a lot of times we didn't know that we had a choice, but now we do. Now we do. And therein lies the opportunity. It's like when you see everybody going through one door, and that door is really just set up to a fight or flight mode your whole life. Like I know a lot of people 50, 60 years old still working a 9-to-5 with no 401k, no benefits. They gonna be working till they dead. Plugged into the machine. Literally sucking their life force away for 70 straight years. And not me. Not me, not my people. If you are serious about changing your life, then this is the opportunity. We need to learn how to matriculate wealth. And I think one of the ways, the easiest way, is through blockchain technology. I think one of the things that gets me most excited about this venture that I created is now I get to learn everything that's happening. You know what I'm saying? And as long as you learn something, you have a reason to be motivated to learn more, to utilize the knowledge that you've acquired and apply it somewhere. Then you go apply it 5 or 6 times. And you say, oh, let me help somebody. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people that don't know this stuff. There's a lot of people that haven't been able to spend 10,000 hours at one of the greatest universities in the world, listening to lectures from people of all aspects of life. There's a lot of people that don't even know what Keynesian economics is. But I've been there. I've done that. Hove did that, so you don't have to go through that. Now my mission is to help as many people make as much money as possible as a part of the greatest transformation of wealth in the history of humanity. I'm building my own piece on the table they setting up, and I'm doing it one video at a time. So if you want to join me on my journey, click that red button. Come on in. The doors are always open. We gonna keep this thing on wheels and keep on rolling. Sometimes I gotta give myself a pep talk, because I tell you what, YouTube ain't showing no love on the algorithm right now. It's difficult to make a video every single day, but at the same point, it's like, well, this is the alternative. This is you just don't say nothing, and more people end up in a more dire situation, right? And my mission on this earth is to leave it better than it was when I found it. When I found it, it was all right. Then it got real messed up. Now I'm coming into the latter half of my life with a little bit of knowledge and some applied utility. I say, well, let me just try to get 10,000 people. You know what I'm saying? To make $10,000 in the market, right? What's that? I think that's net million, right? Let me get $1 million on good side, right? And then maybe once I get 10,000 people with $10,000, at least about 1,000 of them got to have 100,000. And out that 1,000, maybe 100 got $1 million. So all of a sudden, from my efforts, I got 100 million behind me, right? And this is how we change the world. Each one, reach one, and teach one. And so that's the mission. That's the journey. You know what I'm saying? The boss is back. I'm happy to be here. It was a journey. It was like 4 years of darkness, bro. And I don't even talk about it too much, but it got real dark, real lonely. You know what I'm saying? But then when I came out the other side shining, I realized that's how a diamond is made. Like a coal literally got to get pressed from every single angle. But guess what? When it comes through on the other side, shining bright, you know what I'm saying? Resurrected, resurfaced. Then there's no question as to what it's capable of. So with that being said, it's that time of the day signing out. Boss, boy BK, no matter where you stay, Brazil to Bay, California, all the way back out through Germany. Good night, good morning, and good day. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for your time. Hit that thumbs up button for a player one time. Do that for me if you appreciate mine. Till we meet again, stay cryptic, y'all. Peace.
Like a boss.
Huh?